Chapter 1. Early Life in Hawaii. Barack Hussein. Obama II was born on August 4, 1961, in Honolulu, Hawaii. His father, Barack Obama Sr., came from Kenya, and his mother, Ann Dunham, was from Kansas, USA. From the beginning, Barack lived in a world with many different cultures. As a baby, Barack's parents called him Barry. They lived in a small apartment in Honolulu. The city was beautiful, with its beaches and warm weather. Honolulu was a mix of cultures, and this influenced young Barack. He saw people from different backgrounds living together. This helped him understand the importance of diversity. Barack's father, Barack Obama Sr., was very intelligent. He studied at the University of Hawaii, where he met Ann. Barack Sr. came to America to get a good education. He hoped to return to Kenya one day and help his country. Ann was a smart and curious woman. She loved to learn about other cultures and travel to new places. When Barack was 2 years old, his parents separated. His father moved to Massachusetts to attend Harvard University. Later, he returned to Kenya. Barack's mother and grandparents took care of him in Hawaii. Even though his father was far away, Barack's mother told him many stories about his father's homeland, Kenya. Barack's mother remarried an Indonesian man named Lolo Sotoro. When Barack was 6 years old, they moved to Jakarta, Indonesia. This was a big change for young Barack. Jakarta was very different from Honolulu. It was busy, noisy, and full of life. Barack attended a local Indonesian school and learned to speak the language. He saw a new way of life and met children from different backgrounds. Living in Indonesia taught Barack how to adapt to new situations. In Indonesia, Barack experienced many things that he had never seen before. He saw people living in poverty. He saw how hard life could be for some families. This made him think a lot about fairness and justice. He began to understand that not everyone had the same opportunities in life. This time in Indonesia left a big mark on him. After 4 years in Indonesia, Barack returned to Hawaii to live with his grandparents. He was 10 years old. He missed his mother, but she wanted him to have a good education. In Hawaii, Barack went to the Punahou School, a private school known for its high standards. At Punahou, Barack faced new challenges. The school was very different from his school in Jakarta. The classes were harder, and he had to study a lot. But Barack was smart and worked hard. He made friends and became known for his kind and friendly nature. Barack loved to read. He read many books about different cultures, history, and people. He was curious and always wanted to learn more. His grandparents encouraged his love for reading and education. They believed in him and supported his dreams. This made Barack feel confident and determined. During his teenage years, Barack faced questions about his identity. He was of mixed race with a Kenyan father and an American mother. He sometimes felt different from his classmates. But this also made him unique. He learned to be proud of his background. He embraced his mixed heritage and saw it as a strength. Barack knew that he could bring people together because he understood different perspectives. Barack's grandparents played a big role in his life. His grandfather, Stanley Dunham, was a World War II veteran. He had many stories to tell. His grandmother, Madeline Dunham, worked hard at a bank. She showed Barack the importance of hard work and dedication. They taught him valuable lessons about life. During high school, Barack became interested in social issues. He saw that not everyone had the same opportunities. He wanted to make a difference. He joined the basketball team and enjoyed playing sports. Basketball taught him about teamwork and discipline. It was a way to connect with others and build friendships. Barack's mother, Ann, continued to inspire him. She returned to Hawaii for a while to study and do research. She worked hard and never gave up on her dreams. She showed Barack the importance of education and perseverance. Even when they were apart, she was a strong influence in his life. As Barack grew older, he started to think about his future. He wanted to go to college and learn more about the world. He knew that education was the key to achieving his goals. He applied to several colleges and decided to attend Occidental College in Los Angeles. This was the start of a new chapter in his life. Leaving Hawaii was a big step for Barack. He loved his home, but he was ready for new experiences. He wanted to see more of the world and learn from different people. His time in Hawaii, with its rich mix of cultures and beautiful landscapes, had prepared him well. Barack's early life was full of changes and challenges, but each experience taught him something valuable. He learned about different cultures, the importance of education, and the value of hard work. These lessons stayed with him and helped shape the person he would become. His journey from Hawaii to the mainland was just beginning, and he was ready to face the future with hope and determination. Chapter 2. A Multicultural Upbringing. When Barack Obama was 2 years old, his parents separated. His father, Barack Obama Sr., moved to Massachusetts to study at Harvard University. Later, he returned to Kenya. Barack stayed with his mother, Ann Dunham, in Hawaii. Even though his father was far away, Barack's mother told him stories about his father's life in Kenya. Barack's mother, Ann, was a curious and intelligent woman. She loved learning about different cultures and countries. After some time, she met a man from Indonesia named Lolo Sotoro. They fell in love and got married. When Barack was 6 years old, they moved to Jakarta, Indonesia. This was a big change for Barack. Indonesia was very different from Hawaii. The weather was hot, and the streets were busy and full of people. The food, the language, and the customs were all new to Barack. He had to adapt quickly to his new environment. He attended a local school and started to learn the Indonesian language. At first it was difficult, but soon he began to understand and speak it. Barack's school in Jakarta was very different from his school in Hawaii. The classrooms were crowded, and the students wore uniforms. The teachers were strict, and the lessons were sometimes hard to follow. But Barack made friends with the other children and enjoyed learning about their culture. He played games with them and explored the city. This experience taught him how to adapt to new situations and make friends in different environments. Living in Indonesia opened Barack's eyes to many new things. He saw people living in poverty, which was something he had not seen much of in Hawaii. Many families did not have enough food or clean water. This made Barack think a lot about fairness and justice. He began to understand that not everyone had the same opportunities in life. These early experiences in Indonesia shaped his views on the world. Barack's stepfather, Lolo, worked as a geologist. He was a kind and caring man. He taught Barack many things about life in Indonesia. Lolo showed Barack how to be strong and resourceful. He took Barack on trips to the countryside, where they saw beautiful landscapes and met different people. Barack learned to appreciate the natural beauty of Indonesia and its rich culture. Anne, Barack's mother, continued to be a strong influence in his life. She worked hard and studied at the University of Hawaii, even while living in Indonesia. She taught English to Indonesian students and did research on local crafts. Anne was very dedicated to her work and passionate about learning. She encouraged Barack to be curious and to value education. She often read books to him and talked about the importance of understanding other cultures. Despite the challenges, Barack enjoyed his time in Indonesia. He liked the warm weather and the friendly people. He enjoyed trying new foods like nasi goreng, fried rice, and satay, skewered meat. He also liked visiting the markets, where he saw colourful fruits, spices, and handmade crafts. These experiences enriched his understanding of the world and its diversity. After 4 years in Indonesia, Barack's mother decided that it was time for him to return to Hawaii. She wanted him to have a good education and thought he would get better opportunities in the United States. So, when Barack was 10 years old, he moved back to Hawaii to live with his grandparents. This was another big change for him. Back in Hawaii, Barack attended the Punahou School, a prestigious private school. The school was different from the one in Jakarta. The classes were smaller, and the facilities were better. Barack had to adjust again to a new environment. He missed his friends in Indonesia, but was excited about the new opportunities in Hawaii. Barack's grandparents, Stanley and Madeline Dunham, welcomed him with open arms. They were very supportive and loving. His grandfather, Stanley, was a World War II veteran. He had many stories to tell about his experiences. His grandmother, Madeline, worked hard at a bank. She was very dedicated to her job and showed Barack the importance of hard work and perseverance. At Punahou School, Barack faced new challenges. The lessons were more advanced, and he had to work hard to keep up. He spent a lot of time studying and doing homework, but he also made new friends and got involved in different activities. He joined the basketball team and enjoyed playing sports. Basketball taught him about teamwork and discipline. Barack loved to read. He spent many hours in the library, reading books about history, cultures, and famous people. His mother and grandparents encouraged his love for reading. They believed that education was the key to a successful future. Barack took their advice seriously and worked hard in school. During his teenage years, Barack started to think about his identity. He was of mixed race, with a Kenyan father and an American mother. Sometimes he felt different from his classmates, but this also made him unique. He learned to be proud of his background. He embraced his mixed heritage and saw it as a strength. He knew that he could bring people together because he understood different perspectives. Barack's mother continued to inspire him even from afar. She returned to Hawaii for a while to study and do research. She worked hard and never gave up on her dreams. She showed Barack the importance of education and perseverance. Even when they were apart, she was a strong influence in his life. As Barack grew older, he started to think about his future. He wanted to go to college and learn more about the world. He knew that education was the key to achieving his goals. He applied to several colleges and decided to attend Occidental College in Los Angeles. This was the start of a new chapter in his life. Leaving Hawaii was a big step for Barack. He loved his home, but he was ready for new experiences. He wanted to see more of the world and learn from different people. His time in Hawaii, with its rich mix of cultures and beautiful landscapes, had prepared him well. Barack's early life was full of changes and challenges, but each experience taught him something valuable. He learned about different cultures, the importance of education, and the value of hard work. These lessons stayed with him and helped shape the person he would become. His journey from Hawaii to the mainland was just beginning, and he was ready to face the future with hope and determination. Chapter 3. Back to the U.S. At the age of 10, Barack Obama returned to Hawaii. He left Indonesia to live with his grandparents, Stanley and Madeline Dunham. They welcomed him warmly. Barack's mother, Anne Dunham, stayed in Indonesia to continue her work and studies. In Hawaii, Barack started attending the Punahou School. This school was very prestigious and known for its high academic standards. Barak felt both excited and nervous about this new chapter in his life. The Punahou school was very different from his school in Jakarta. The classrooms were modern and well-equipped. The teachers were friendly and supportive, but they also expected a lot from their students. Barak knew he had to work hard to succeed. Barak's grandparents encouraged him to do his best. His grandfather, Stanley, was a World War II veteran. He liked to share stories from his past, which Barak enjoyed listening to. His grandmother, Madeline, worked at a bank. She was very dedicated to her job and showed Barak the importance of hard work. At Punahou, Barak quickly made new friends. He was friendly and curious, always eager to learn new things. He liked to ask questions and participate in class discussions. His teachers noticed his enthusiasm and leadership skills. Barak loved to read. He spent a lot of time in the school library. He read books about history, different cultures, and famous leaders. Reading helped him understand the world better and inspired him to think about his own future. Barak also enjoyed playing sports. He joined the basketball team at Punahou. Basketball became one of his favorite activities. It taught him about teamwork and discipline. He liked the challenge of the game and the feeling of working together with his teammates. Despite his busy schedule, Barak made time for his family. He loved his grandparents and appreciated their support. They often talked about his studies and his dreams for the future. These conversations motivated Barak to work hard and aim high. As Barak grew older, he started to think more about his identity. He was of mixed race, with a Kenyan father and an American mother. Sometimes he felt different from his classmates, but he also felt proud of his unique background. He knew it gave him a special perspective on life. Barak faced some challenges at Punahou. The academic workload was heavy and the competition was tough. But he did not give up. He studied hard and asked for help when he needed it. His efforts paid off. He excelled in his classes and earned good grades. Barak's time at Punahou was not just about academics. He also learned important life lessons. He learned to be disciplined, to work hard, and to respect others. These values stayed with him throughout his life. During his teenage years, Barak started to think seriously about his future. He knew he wanted to go to college. He wanted to learn more and make a difference in the world. His teachers and grandparents supported his ambitions and encouraged him to follow his dreams. Barak applied to several colleges. He wanted to find a place where he could grow and learn. After careful consideration, he decided to attend Occidental College in Los Angeles. This decision marked the beginning of a new adventure for him. Leaving Hawaii was not easy. Barak loved his home and his family, but he was ready for new experiences and challenges. He wanted to see more of the world and meet new people. His time in Hawaii had prepared him well for the journey ahead. At Occidental College, Barak continued to excel academically. He also became more involved in social issues. He joined student groups and participated in discussions about important topics. He started to see himself as a leader and a voice for change. Barak's college years were filled with new experiences. He made new friends and learned from his professors. He also began to think more about his future career. He knew he wanted to help people and make a positive impact on society. During his time at Occidental, Barak transferred to Columbia University in New York City. This was another big step in his journey. New York was a bustling, diverse city. It was full of opportunities and challenges. Barak embraced this new environment and continued to grow both personally and academically. At Columbia, Barak studied political science. He became more passionate about social justice and equality. He read about famous leaders and activists who fought for change. These stories inspired him and reinforced his commitment to making a difference. After graduating from Columbia, Barack moved to Chicago. He wanted to work as a community organizer. This job allowed him to help people directly and address important social issues. It was a challenging role, but Barack felt it was the right path for him. Working in Chicago was a transformative experience for Barack. He saw firsthand the struggles of low-income families and the importance of community support. He learned how to listen to people's concerns and find ways to help them. This work solidified his desire to pursue a career in public service. Barack's early life and experiences shaped him into a determined and compassionate individual. From his multicultural upbringing to his academic achievements, each step of his journey taught him valuable lessons. These lessons guided him as he continued to work towards his goals and make a difference in the world. Chapter 4. College Years. After finishing high school, Barack Obama moved to Los Angeles to attend Occidental College. This was a big change for him. He left Hawaii, his family, and friends to start a new chapter in his life. Los Angeles was a large and busy city, very different from Honolulu. At Occidental College, Barack was excited to learn. He took many different classes and met students from various backgrounds. These new experiences opened his eyes to many new ideas. He enjoyed his classes and liked talking with his professors and classmates. Barack was curious about the world and wanted to understand more about society and politics. He started to read many books about history, politics, and social issues. These books made him think about his own place in the world and what he could do to make it better. Barack made friends with students who shared his interests. They often had long discussions about politics and social justice. These conversations were very important to Barack. They helped him understand different viewpoints and encouraged him to think deeply about important issues. While at Occidental, Barack began to see the world in a new way. He noticed the differences between rich and poor people. He saw how some people had more opportunities than others. This made him think a lot about fairness and justice. He wanted to find ways to help those who were less fortunate. After 2 years at Occidental College, Barack decided to transfer to Columbia University in New York City. He believed that Columbia would offer him more opportunities to learn and grow. Moving to New York City was another big change for Barack. The city was very different from both Honolulu and Los Angeles. It was busy, diverse, and full of energy. At Columbia, Barack majored in political science. He focused on international relations and political theory. He studied hard and spent a lot of time in the library. He read many books and articles to understand more about the world and its problems. His professors were knowledgeable and helped him develop his ideas. Living in New York City was an exciting experience for Barack. The city was full of different cultures and people. He loved exploring the city, visiting museums, and attending lectures. These experiences broadened his understanding of the world. During his time at Columbia, Barack became more involved in social issues. He joined student groups that focused on community service and social justice. He participated in protests and demonstrations. He felt that it was important to stand up for what he believed in. Barack also started to think more about his future. He knew that he wanted to make a difference in the world, but he was not sure how. He considered different career paths, including law, politics, and community organizing. He wanted to find a way to use his skills and knowledge to help others. One of the most important experiences for Barack during his college years was his work as a community organizer. He worked in neighborhoods where many people faced problems like poverty and unemployment. He helped organize meetings and events to bring people together and find solutions to their problems. This work was challenging, but also very rewarding. Barack's time at Columbia was not just about academics and social activism. He also made many new friends and had fun exploring the city. He enjoyed going to jazz clubs, trying new foods, and meeting interesting people. These experiences made his time in New York City memorable and enjoyable. After graduating from Columbia University, Barack felt more confident about his future. He had learned a lot about the world and about himself. He knew that he wanted to continue working for social justice and helping others. His college years had been a time of growth and discovery. Barack decided to move to Chicago to work as a community organizer. He believed that this job would allow him to make a real difference in people's lives. Moving to Chicago was another big step for Barack, but he was ready for the challenge. He felt that his experiences at Occidental and Columbia had prepared him well for this new chapter in his life. In Chicago, Barack worked with many different community groups. He helped people find jobs, improve their housing, and access better education. This work was often difficult, but it was also very important to Barack. He felt that he was making a positive impact on the community. Barack's college years were a time of great change and growth. He learned a lot about the world and about himself. He developed a strong sense of purpose and a commitment to social justice. These experiences shaped his future and helped him become the person he is today. Chapter 4. College Years. After high school, Barack Obama moved to Los Angeles. He started studying at Occidental College. This was a big change for him. He left Hawaii, his family, and his friends to start a new life in a new city. Los Angeles was large and busy, very different from Honolulu. At Occidental College, Barack felt excited. He took many different classes and met students from many backgrounds. These new experiences opened his eyes to new ideas. He enjoyed his classes and liked talking with his professors and classmates. Barack was curious about the world. He wanted to understand more about society and politics. He started to read many books about history, politics, and social issues. These books made him think about his own place in the world and what he could do to make it better. Barack made friends with students who shared his interests. They often had long discussions about politics and social justice. These conversations were very important to Barack. They helped him understand different viewpoints and encouraged him to think deeply about important issues. While at Occidental, Barack began to see the world in a new way. He noticed the differences between rich and poor people. He saw how some people had more opportunities than others. This made him think a lot about fairness and justice. He wanted to find ways to help those who were less fortunate. After 2 years at Occidental College, Barack decided to transfer to Columbia University in New York City. He believed that Columbia would offer him more opportunities to learn and grow. Moving to New York City was another big change for Barack. The city was very different from both Honolulu and Los Angeles. It was busy, diverse, and full of energy. At Columbia, Barack majored in political science. He focused on international relations and political theory. He studied hard and spent a lot of time in the library. He read many books and articles to understand more about the world and its problems. His professors were knowledgeable and helped him develop his ideas. Living in New York City was an exciting experience for Barack. The city was full of different cultures and people. He loved exploring the city, visiting museums, and attending lectures. These experiences broadened his understanding of the world. During his time at Columbia, Barack became more involved in social issues. He joined student groups that focused on community service and social justice. He participated in protests and demonstrations. He felt that it was important to stand up for what he believed in. Barack also started to think more about his future. He knew that he wanted to make a difference in the world, but he was not sure how. He considered different career paths, including law, politics, and community organizing. He wanted to find a way to use his skills and knowledge to help others. One of the most important experiences for Barack during his college years was his work as a community organizer. He worked in neighborhoods where many people faced problems like poverty and unemployment. He helped organize meetings and events to bring people together and find solutions to their problems. This work was challenging, but also very rewarding. Barack's time at Columbia was not just about academics and social activism. He also made many new friends and had fun exploring the city. He enjoyed going to jazz clubs, trying new foods, and meeting interesting people. These experiences made his time in New York City memorable and enjoyable. After graduating from Columbia University, Barack felt more confident about his future. He had learned a lot about the world and about himself. He knew that he wanted to continue working for social justice and helping others. His college years had been a time of growth and discovery. Barack decided to move to Chicago to work as a community organizer. He believed that this job would allow him to make a real difference in people's lives. Moving to Chicago was another big step for Barack, but he was ready for the challenge. He felt that his experiences at Occidental and Columbia had prepared him well for this new chapter in his life. In Chicago, Barack worked with many different community groups. He helped people find jobs, improve their housing, and access better education. This work was often difficult, but it was also very important to Barack. He felt that he was making a positive impact on the community. Barack's college years were a time of great change and growth. He learned a lot about the world and about himself. He developed a strong sense of purpose and a commitment to social justice. These experiences shaped his future and helped him become the person he is today. Chapter 5. Community Organizer. After graduating from Columbia University, Barack Obama moved to Chicago. He wanted to work as a community organizer. This job was new to him, but he was eager to make a difference. Chicago was a big city, with many challenges and opportunities. In Chicago, Barack worked for a group called the Developing Communities Project. This group helped low-income families in the city's South Side. The South Side was a tough place to live. Many people did not have good jobs or safe homes. Barack wanted to help them improve their lives. Barack's job was not easy. He met with many people who were struggling. He listened to their problems and tried to find solutions. He learned about the community and its needs. This work was hard, but it was also very rewarding. Barack felt that he was making a real difference. One of the first things Barack did was organize meetings. He brought people together to talk about their problems. These meetings helped the community members feel united. They saw that they were not alone in their struggles. Barack encouraged them to work together to find solutions. Barack also helped the community fight for better job opportunities. Many people in the South Side did not have good jobs. They needed better training and education to get better jobs. Barack worked with local businesses and schools to create job training programs. These programs helped people learn new skills and find better jobs. Housing was another big problem in the South Side. Many families lived in poor conditions. Their homes were old and needed repairs. Barack helped organize efforts to improve housing. He worked with local government and community groups to get funding for housing projects. These projects helped many families live in safer and better homes. Barak's work as a community organizer was challenging. He faced many obstacles, but he did not give up. He learned to be patient and persistent. He saw that change took time, but it was possible. His work helped him understand the importance of public service. Barak also learned a lot about leadership during this time. He saw how important it was to listen to people and understand their needs. He learned how to bring people together and inspire them to work for a common goal. These skills were very important for his future. During his time in Chicago, Barak met many interesting people. He made friends with community leaders, activists, and ordinary citizens. These people taught him a lot about life and the struggles of the poor. They inspired him to continue working for social justice. Barak's work in Chicago also had a big impact on him personally. He saw the difficulties that many people faced. He saw how hard it was for them to get good jobs, housing, and education. These experiences made him more determined to help others. He wanted to fight for a fairer and more just society. One of the most important things Barak did as a community organizer was to empower people. He showed them that they had the power to make changes in their own lives. He encouraged them to take action and not wait for others to solve their problems. This was a powerful lesson for the community and for Barak himself. Barak's time in Chicago was a turning point in his life. It was here that he found his passion for public service. He saw how important it was to work for the common good. He understood that real change came from the people and their efforts to improve their lives. After several years of working as a community organizer, Barak decided to go to law school. He wanted to learn more about the law and how it could be used to help people. He believed that a legal education would give him more tools to fight for social justice. He applied to Harvard Law School and was accepted. Leaving Chicago was not easy for Barak. He had made many friends and learned a lot from his work. But he knew that going to law school was the right step for his future. He wanted to continue his work on a larger scale and make a bigger impact. Barak's experiences as a community organizer stayed with him throughout his life. They shaped his views on social justice and public service. He saw how important it was to listen to people and understand their needs. He learned the value of hard work and persistence. Chapter 6. Harvard Law School. Barack Obama's commitment to justice led him to Harvard Law School. He believed that studying law would help him fight for fairness and equality. Leaving Chicago was difficult, but Barack knew this step was important for his future. In 1988, Barack started his studies at Harvard Law School. Harvard was one of the most prestigious law schools in the United States. Barack was excited, but also a bit nervous. He knew the coursework would be challenging. At Harvard, Barack worked very hard. He spent many hours reading and studying. The classes were difficult, but he was determined to succeed. Barack enjoyed learning about the law and how it could be used to help people. During his time at Harvard, Barack became involved in many activities. He joined study groups and participated in discussions. He also got to know many of his classmates. They came from different backgrounds and had many interesting ideas. Barack liked hearing their perspectives and sharing his own. One of the most important experiences for Barack at Harvard was working on the Harvard Law Review. The Harvard Law Review is a respected legal journal. Students write and edit articles about important legal issues. Being part of the Law Review was a great honor and required a lot of hard work. Barack's dedication and intelligence were soon recognized by his peers. In his second year, he ran for president of the Harvard Law Review. This was a competitive position. Many talented students wanted the role, but Barack's leadership skills and vision stood out. He was elected as the first African-American president of the Harvard Law Review. This was a historic achievement. As president of the Harvard Law Review, Barack had many responsibilities. He led meetings, edited articles, and made important decisions. This role helped him develop his leadership and management skills. It also brought him national attention. Barack's success at Harvard was not just about academics. He also cared deeply about social justice. He wanted to use his legal knowledge to help others. He was involved in community service and worked with local organizations. These activities were important to him and kept him connected to the real world. During the summer breaks, Barack returned to Chicago. He worked at law firms and continued his community organizing. He stayed committed to the people he wanted to help. These experiences reinforced his belief in the power of law to create positive change. Barack's time at Harvard was also important for his personal life. It was during this time that he met Michelle Robinson. Michelle was also a lawyer. They met when Barack was working at a law firm in Chicago during one summer break. They shared many values and interests. They became close and started dating. Their relationship grew stronger over time. After graduating from Harvard Law School in 1991, Barack returned to Chicago. He felt prepared to take on new challenges. He joined a law firm, but continued his community work. He wanted to combine his legal skills with his passion for social justice. Barack's achievements at Harvard opened many doors for him. He was offered many job opportunities, but he chose to focus on public service. He believed that helping others was the best use of his talents and education. Barack also started teaching law at the University of Chicago. He enjoyed teaching and sharing his knowledge with students. This job allowed him to stay connected to both law and community work. He taught constitutional law, which is the study of the principles and rules of the U.S. Constitution. His students respected him for his knowledge and commitment. Barack and Michelle's relationship continued to grow. They shared a strong bond and supported each other's goals. In 1992, they got married. They started a family and built a life together in Chicago. Barack's time at Harvard Law School was a defining period in his life. It helped shape his career and his future. He learned the importance of hard work, leadership, and staying true to one's values. His experiences at Harvard prepared him for the many challenges ahead. Chapter 7. Meeting Michelle. During a summer internship at a Chicago law firm, Barack Obama met Michelle Robinson. It was 1989, and Barack was a law student at Harvard. Michelle was already a lawyer at the firm. She was assigned to be his mentor during the internship. Michelle Robinson grew up in Chicago. She attended Princeton University and then went to Harvard Law School. She was intelligent, hard-working, and dedicated to her job. When she first met Barack, she was impressed by his commitment to social justice and public service. Barack and Michelle spent a lot of time together at work. They discussed their cases and shared their thoughts on many issues. They both cared deeply about helping others and making a difference in the world. Their shared interests brought them closer. One day, Barack asked Michelle out for lunch. They went to a local restaurant and talked for hours. They found that they had a lot in common. They both loved reading, learning, and talking about important issues. They enjoyed each other's company and felt a strong connection. Their relationship grew quickly. They spent more time together outside of work. They visited museums, went to concerts, and explored Chicago. They enjoyed each other's sense of humor and had fun together. Their bond became stronger with each passing day. Michelle admired Barack's dedication to his work and his vision for the future. Barack admired Michelle's strength, intelligence, and kindness. They supported each other in their careers and personal lives. Their relationship was built on mutual respect and understanding. In 1991, Barack graduated from Harvard Law School and returned to Chicago. He continued his work as a community organizer and started teaching law at the University of Chicago. Michelle continued her work at the law firm, but also became involved in community projects. In 1992, Barack and Michelle decided to get married. They wanted to build a life together and support each other's dreams. Their wedding took place on October 3, 1992. It was a beautiful ceremony with family and friends. Everyone could see the love and commitment between them. After their marriage, Barack and Michelle faced many challenges, but they always supported each other. They worked hard to balance their careers and personal lives. They made time for each other and their growing family. In 1998, they welcomed their first daughter, Malia. In 2001, their second daughter, Sasha, was born. Barack and Michelle were devoted parents. They wanted to give their daughters a loving and supportive home. They worked together to raise their children and teach them important values. Barack and Michelle's partnership was strong. They shared responsibilities and made decisions together. They trusted and relied on each other. Their love and commitment helped them face many challenges. Barack's work in politics began to grow. He ran for the Illinois State Senate and won. Michelle supported his political career, but also focused on her own work and their family. They worked as a team, always supporting each other's goals and dreams. Barack's career continued to rise. He decided to run for the U.S. Senate in 2004. This was a big step for their family. Michelle was concerned about the impact on their family life, but she supported Barack's decision. She believed in his vision and wanted to help him succeed. Barack's campaign for the U.S. Senate was successful. He won the election and became a U.S. Senator. This new role brought many changes and challenges, but Barack and Michelle faced them together. They continued to support each other and work as a team. Their strong partnership was evident to everyone who knew them. They shared a deep bond and a commitment to making a difference in the world. Their love and support for each other helped them overcome many obstacles. Barack and Michelle's journey together was not always easy, but their dedication to each other and their shared values kept them strong. They believed in each other and their ability to make a positive impact on the world. In 2007, Barack decided to run for President of the United States. This was a huge decision for their family. Michelle was initially hesitant, but supported Barack's dream. She knew it would be a challenging journey, but she believed in his vision for the country. Barack's presidential campaign was a difficult and demanding time for their family. Michelle played a key role in the campaign. She traveled across the country, speaking to people and sharing Barack's vision. She balanced her role as a mother and a political campaigner with grace and strength. In 2008, Barack Obama was elected President of the United States. This was a historic moment for their family and the country. Michelle became the First Lady and embraced her new role with dedication and passion. She focused on issues like supporting military families, helping children lead healthier lives, and advocating for education. As President and First Lady, Barack and Michelle continued to support each other. They faced many challenges, but their partnership remained strong. They worked together to make a difference and inspire others. Barack and Michelle's relationship is a story of love, commitment, and shared values. Their journey together has been filled with challenges and triumphs. Their strong partnership has helped them navigate the ups and downs of life and make a lasting impact on the world. Chapter 8. Starting a Family. Barack and Michelle Obama started their family after getting married in 1992. They were very excited about this new chapter in their lives. Both of them wanted children and looked forward to becoming parents. In 1998, their first daughter, Malia, was born. Barack and Michelle were very happy. They loved Malia deeply and wanted to give her the best life possible. They worked together to take care of her. Barack and Michelle learned how to be parents and balance their work with family life. Having a baby was a big change for Barack and Michelle. They had to adjust their schedules and make time for Malia. Barack was working as a lawyer and a teacher at the University of Chicago. Michelle was also working hard in her career. They had to find a way to manage their jobs and take care of their daughter. In 2001, their second daughter, Sasha, was born. The Obamas were thrilled to welcome another child into their family. Malia was excited to have a little sister. Barack and Michelle were now parents to 2 young daughters. This made their lives even busier, but they were happy to have a growing family. Barack and Michelle knew that balancing their careers and family life would be challenging. They worked hard to make sure their daughters had a stable and loving home. They wanted Malia and Sasha to grow up feeling loved and supported. Barack's job often required him to be away from home. He had many responsibilities and meetings. Despite his busy schedule, he made sure to spend time with his family. He enjoyed playing with Malia and Sasha, reading to them, and helping them with their homework. He wanted to be an active and present father. Michelle also worked hard to balance her career and family life. She was very involved in her daughters' lives. She made sure they were healthy, happy, and doing well in school. Michelle often took Malia and Sasha to their activities and spent quality time with them. She wanted to be a good role model for her daughters. The Obamas faced many challenges as they balanced their careers and family life. They had to manage their time carefully. They worked together as a team to support each other and their daughters. Their strong partnership helped them handle the demands of their busy lives. Barack's political career continued to grow. In 2004, he was elected to the U.S. Senate. This was a big step in his career, but it also meant more time away from home. Barack and Michelle had to work even harder to balance his job and their family life. They communicated often and made sure to support each other. Despite the challenges, Barack and Michelle were committed to their family. They wanted Malia and Sasha to have a normal and happy childhood. They tried to keep their lives as regular as possible, even with Barack's demanding job. They valued their time together and made family a priority. Barack and Michelle also taught their daughters important values. They wanted Malia and Sasha to be kind, responsible, and respectful. They encouraged their daughters to work hard in school and to care about others. They hoped to raise them to be good people who would make a positive impact in the world. As Malia and Sasha grew older, they understood more about their father's job. They knew he was working to help people and make a difference. They were proud of him, but also missed him when he was away. Barack always tried to explain his work to them and show them why it was important. In 2007, Barack decided to run for President of the United States. This was a huge decision for the Obama family. Running for president would be very demanding and require a lot of time and effort. Barack and Michelle talked about it a lot before making the decision. They knew it would be a big change for their family. The campaign was very intense. Barack traveled all over the country to meet people and talk about his ideas. Michelle also traveled and gave speeches. They worked hard to balance the campaign with their family life. They made sure Malia and Sasha were taken care of and tried to keep things as normal as possible for them. The campaign was a new experience for Malia and Sasha. They traveled with their parents and met many new people. They saw their parents working hard and learned about the importance of public service. Despite the busy schedule, Barack and Michelle made sure to spend time with their daughters. They wanted them to feel loved and secure. In 2008, Barack was elected President of the United States. This was a historic moment for their family and the country. Moving to the White House was a big change for Malia and Sasha. They had to adjust to a new home and a new life. Barack and Michelle worked hard to make sure their daughters felt comfortable and happy in their new environment. Living in the White House was an exciting experience for Malia and Sasha. They had many new opportunities and experiences. They met important people and traveled to different places. Despite their new surroundings, Barack and Michelle tried to keep their lives as normal as possible. They wanted their daughters to have a regular childhood. Barack and Michelle continued to focus on their family, even while dealing with the demands of the presidency. They made time for family dinners, helped with homework, and attended their daughters' activities. They wanted to be there for Malia and Sasha and support them in every way. Balancing family life with a demanding career was challenging for Barack and Michelle. But they remained committed to their goals and each other. They worked as a team to support their daughters and give them a loving and stable home. Chapter 9. Political Beginnings. Barack Obama entered politics by running for the Illinois State Senate in 1996. He believed he could make a difference in his community. He wanted to improve healthcare, education, and criminal justice. These issues were important to him, and he worked hard to address them. Barack's first step was to build a campaign team. He gathered people who shared his vision. They helped him plan his campaign and reach out to voters. Barack spent many hours talking to people in his district. He listened to their concerns and shared his ideas for change. Running for office was not easy. Barack faced many challenges. He had to convince people that he could make a difference. He had to raise money for his campaign. He also had to compete against other candidates. But Barack was determined. He believed in his vision and worked hard every day. During the campaign, Barack focused on three main issues: healthcare, education, and criminal justice. He believed that everyone should have access to quality healthcare. He wanted to improve the education system so that every child could get a good education. He also wanted to reform the criminal justice system to make it fairer. Barack's dedication and hard work paid off. In 1996, he won the election and became a state senator. This was a big achievement for him. He was now in a position to make real changes. He felt excited and ready to start his new job. As a state senator, Barack worked on many important issues. He introduced bills to improve healthcare. He worked to expand healthcare coverage for children and families. He also focused on education. He wanted to make sure that every child had the opportunity to succeed. He supported programs that helped students and teachers. Barack also worked on criminal justice reform. He wanted to make the system fairer and more just. He introduced bills to reduce sentences for non-violent offenders. He also worked on programs to help people who were released from prison. He believed that everyone deserved a second chance. Barack's work in the state Senate made him a popular figure in Illinois politics. People saw that he was dedicated and hard-working. They appreciated his efforts to improve their lives. Barack built strong relationships with his colleagues. He worked with both Democrats and Republicans to pass important bills. He believed that working together was the best way to make progress. Barack's success in the state Senate gave him confidence. He saw that he could make a difference. He continued to focus on the issues that mattered most to him. He also began to think about his future. He wanted to do even more to help his community and his country. In 2004, Barack decided to run for the U.S. Senate. This was a big step for him. He knew that it would be a tough race, but he believed that he could make a difference on a national level. He wanted to bring his vision of change to the entire country. During his campaign for the U.S. Senate, Barack traveled all over Illinois. He talked to people in cities and small towns. He listened to their concerns and shared his ideas. He focused on the same issues: healthcare, education, and criminal justice. He also talked about the importance of unity and working together. Barack's campaign was successful. In 2004, he won the election and became a U.S. Senator. This was a huge achievement for him. He was now in a position to make a difference on a national level. He felt proud and ready to start his new job. As a U.S. Senator, Barack continued to work on important issues. He introduced bills to improve healthcare and education. He also worked on criminal justice reform. He believed that these issues were important for the future of the country. He worked hard every day to make progress. Barack's work in the U.S. Senate made him a well-known figure in national politics. People saw that he was dedicated and hard-working. They appreciated his efforts to improve their lives. Barack built strong relationships with his colleagues in the Senate. He worked with both Democrats and Republicans to pass important bills. He believed that working together was the best way to make progress. In 2008, Barack decided to run for President of the United States. This was a big decision for him. He knew that it would be a tough race, but he believed that he could make a difference on a national level. He wanted to bring his vision of change to the entire country. During his campaign for president, Barack traveled all over the United States. He talked to people in cities and small towns. He listened to their concerns and shared his ideas. He focused on the same issues: healthcare, education, and criminal justice. He also talked about the importance of unity and working together. Barack's campaign was successful. In 2008, he won the election and became the President of the United States. This was a huge achievement for him. He was now in a position to make a difference on a national level. He felt proud and ready to start his new job. As president, Barack continued to work on important issues. He introduced bills to improve healthcare and education. He also worked on criminal justice reform. He believed that these issues were important for the future of the country. He worked hard every day to make progress. Barack's journey from state senator to president was a remarkable one. He faced many challenges, but he never gave up. He believed in his vision and worked hard every day to make a difference. His dedication and hard work paid off. He was able to bring about real change and improve the lives of many people. Chapter 10. U.S. Senate Campaign. In 2004, Barack Obama decided to run for the U.S. Senate. This was a big step in his political career. He wanted to make a bigger impact and help more people. Running for the Senate was a challenging and exciting decision. Barack's campaign began with a lot of hard work. He traveled across Illinois to meet people and talk about his ideas. He visited cities, towns, and rural areas. He listened to the concerns of the people and shared his plans to address their problems. Barack focused on issues like healthcare, education, and jobs. One of the most important moments of Barack's campaign was his speech at the Democratic National Convention in Boston. This event took place in July 2004. Barack was invited to give the keynote speech. This was a great honor and a big opportunity for him. He knew that many people would be watching. Barack prepared carefully for his speech. He wanted to inspire people and share his vision for the future. On the night of the speech, he stood before a large audience. Millions of people watched on television. Barack spoke about unity, hope, and the American dream. He talked about the importance of working together to solve problems. His speech was powerful and moving. Barack's keynote speech made a huge impact. People all over the country were impressed by his message and his delivery. The speech catapulted him to national prominence. Many people who had not known about Barack before were now excited about his campaign. The media began to pay more attention to him. As the campaign continued, Barack worked hard to connect with voters. He held rallies, town hall meetings, and other events. He talked about his plans to improve healthcare, support education, and create jobs. He also discussed the importance of fairness and justice. Barack's opponents in the Senate race were strong. They also campaigned hard and tried to win the support of the voters. But Barack's message of hope and change resonated with many people. They believed in his vision and trusted his leadership. Throughout the campaign, Barack's family supported him. Michelle and their daughters, Malia and Sasha, were by his side. They attended events and cheered him on. Their support meant a lot to Barack and gave him strength. On Election Day, November 2nd, 2004, people across Illinois went to vote. The results came in, and Barack won the Senate seat. It was a great victory for him and his supporters. Barack felt grateful for the trust that the people of Illinois had placed in him. He was ready to start his new job as a U.S. Senator. Becoming a U.S. Senator was a big responsibility. Barack moved to Washington, D.C. to begin his work. He was excited to represent the people of Illinois and to work on important issues. He joined the Senate with a sense of purpose and determination. In the Senate, Barack focused on many of the same issues he had talked about during his campaign. He worked on legislation to improve healthcare. He supported bills to help students and schools. He also worked on economic issues to create more jobs and support working families. Barack's work in the Senate was challenging but rewarding. He collaborated with other senators from both political parties. He believed that working together was the best way to achieve results. He listened to different opinions and tried to find common ground. One of the key pieces of legislation that Barack worked on was a bill to increase transparency in government. He believed that people had the right to know how their government worked and how decisions were made. The bill aimed to make government more open and accountable. Barack's efforts in the Senate did not go unnoticed. People saw that he was dedicated and hard-working. He gained respect from his colleagues and from people across the country. His work in the Senate strengthened his reputation as a rising star in American politics. In addition to his legislative work, Barack also stayed connected to the people of Illinois. He traveled back to his home state regularly. He held meetings and listened to the concerns of his constituents. He wanted to make sure that he was representing their needs and interests. Barack's time in the Senate was also a period of personal growth. He learned a lot about how the government worked and how to navigate the political landscape. He gained valuable experience that would help him in the future. As a U.S. Senator, Barack continued to inspire people with his message of hope and change. He encouraged young people to get involved in politics and to work for a better future. He believed that everyone had a role to play in making the country better. Barack's work in the Senate set the stage for the next big step in his political career. He began to think about running for President of the United States. He believed that he could bring positive change to the entire country. His experiences as a senator gave him the confidence to take on this new challenge. In 2007, Barack announced his candidacy for president. He knew it would be a difficult journey, but he was ready for it. His campaign for the Senate had taught him many valuable lessons. He was prepared to work hard and to continue his fight for a better future. Barack's journey from a state senator to a U.S. senator was remarkable. His keynote speech at the Democratic National Convention was a turning point in his career. It brought him national attention and helped him win the Senate seat. Barack's dedication, hard work, and inspiring message made him a popular figure in American politics. Chapter 11. Presidential Campaign. In February 2007, Barack Obama announced his candidacy for President of the United States. He made his announcement in Springfield, Illinois. He chose this place because it was where Abraham Lincoln, a former president, began his political career. Barack felt inspired by Lincoln's legacy. Barack's message was clear. He talked about hope and change. He wanted to bring people together to solve the country's problems. Many Americans felt tired of the old ways of politics. They wanted new ideas and fresh leadership. Barack's message resonated with them. Running for president was a huge challenge. Barack faced strong opponents in the Democratic Party. Hillary Clinton, a former First Lady and Senator, was one of his main competitors. She was well known and had a lot of experience. John Edwards, another senator, was also a strong candidate. But Barack believed in his vision and was ready to work hard. Barack's campaign team was young and energetic. They used technology and social media to reach out to voters. They organized rallies, town hall meetings, and online discussions. They wanted to connect with people all over the country. Barack traveled a lot. He visited many states and talked to people from all walks of life. One of the key moments of Barack's campaign was the Iowa caucus in January 2008. Iowa was the first state to vote in the primary elections. Winning in Iowa was very important. Barack worked hard in Iowa. He talked to many voters and shared his ideas. When the results came in, Barack won the Iowa caucus. This victory gave his campaign a big boost. After Iowa, Barack faced more primary elections. He continued to talk about hope and change. His speeches inspired many people. They saw him as a leader who could bring the country together. Barack's campaign gained more support and momentum. Barack's opponents did not give up easily. Hillary Clinton won some important states. The race was very close. Both Barack and Hillary worked hard to win delegates who would vote for the party's nominee at the Democratic National Convention. The campaign was intense and sometimes difficult. Despite the challenges, Barack remained focused. He continued to reach out to voters. He talked about his plans to improve health care, create jobs, and end the war in Iraq. People liked his positive message and his vision for the future. More and more Americans began to support him. In June 2008, the Democratic primary season ended. Barack had won enough delegates to secure the nomination. Hillary Clinton congratulated him and offered her support. Barack was now the Democratic candidate for President of the United States. This was a historic moment. He was the first African American to be nominated for president by a major political party. The general election campaign began. Barack's opponent was John McCain, a Republican senator from Arizona. McCain was a veteran and had a lot of experience. The race for the presidency was tough. Both candidates worked hard to win votes. Barack continued to talk about hope and change. He focused on issues like healthcare, the economy, and the war in Iraq. He wanted to show people that he could lead the country in a new direction. His speeches were powerful and inspiring. The financial crisis in 2008 was a major issue in the campaign. The economy was in trouble, and many people were losing their jobs and homes. Barack talked about his plans to help the economy recover. He wanted to create jobs and support working families. Many people felt that he understood their struggles and believed in his plans. Barack's running mate was Joe Biden, a senator from Delaware. Biden had a lot of experience in foreign policy and government. He was a strong supporter of Barack and helped strengthen the campaign. The campaign trail was long and demanding. Barack and his team traveled all over the country. They spoke at rallies, town halls, and debates. They worked hard to win every vote. The support from volunteers and grassroots organizers was incredible. They believed in Barack's vision and worked tirelessly to help him win. Election Day was on November 4, 2008. Millions of Americans went to the polls to cast their votes. The results started coming in that evening. It was a tense and exciting time. People all over the country were watching and waiting. Late in the evening, the news came. Barack Obama had won the election. He was elected the 44th President of the United States. People celebrated in the streets. They felt hopeful and excited about the future. Barack gave a victory speech in Chicago's Grant Park. He thanked his supporters and talked about the work ahead. He promised to serve all Americans and to bring about the change he had spoken about during his campaign. Becoming president was a huge responsibility. Barack knew that he had a lot of work to do. The country was facing many challenges, but he was ready to lead. He felt grateful for the trust that the American people had placed in him. He was determined to make a positive difference. The presidential campaign was a remarkable journey. It showed Barack's dedication, hard work, and commitment to his vision. He faced many challenges, but never gave up. His message of hope and change inspired millions of people. They believed in him and his ability to lead the country. Barack's election as president was a historic moment. It marked a new chapter in American history. He was ready to take on the challenges and to work for a better future for all Americans. His journey from a young community organizer to the President of the United States was truly inspiring. Chapter 12. Historic Victory. In 2008, Barack Obama made history by becoming the first African-American president of the United States. This victory was very important for many people. It represented hope and progress. Barack's journey to this moment was full of hard work and dedication. The election took place on November 4, 2008. On that day, millions of Americans went to vote. The atmosphere was tense and full of excitement. People all over the country watched the news, waiting for the results. Barack's opponent was John McCain, a senator from Arizona. McCain was experienced and respected. The race was very close, and both candidates worked hard to win. As the votes were counted, it became clear that Barack was winning. He received strong support from many states. Late in the evening, the news announced that Barack Obama had won the election. He would be the 44th President of the United States. Barack's victory was celebrated across the country. People gathered in cities and towns to celebrate. They felt a sense of hope and excitement about the future. Barack gave his victory speech in Chicago's Grant Park. Thousands of people came to hear him speak. In his speech, Barack thanked his supporters. He talked about the challenges ahead and the work that needed to be done. He promised to serve all Americans and to bring change and unity to the country. His words were inspiring and gave people hope. Becoming president was a huge responsibility. Barack knew that he had a lot of work to do. The country was facing many problems. The economy was in trouble, and many people were losing their jobs and homes. Barack promised to address these issues and to work for the good of all Americans. After the election, Barack and his family prepared to move to the White House. This was a big change for them. They had to leave their home in Chicago and start a new life in Washington, D.C. Michelle, Malia, and Sasha were excited but also a little nervous about the move. On January 20th, 2009, Barack was inaugurated as president. The inauguration ceremony took place in Washington, D.C. It was a cold day, but many people came to witness the historic event. Barack took the oath of office and became the President of the United States. In his inaugural speech, Barack spoke about the challenges facing the country. He talked about the importance of unity and working together. He encouraged Americans to come together and support each other. His speech was full of hope and determination. As president, Barack faced many challenges. The economy was a major concern. He worked on plans to create jobs and support businesses. He also focused on healthcare reform. He wanted to make sure that all Americans had access to quality healthcare. Barack also worked on improving education. He believed that every child deserved a good education. He supported programs to help schools and teachers. He wanted to make sure that students were prepared for the future. Another important issue for Barack was the environment. He worked on policies to address climate change and protect natural resources. He believed that taking care of the environment was important for future generations. Barack's presidency was also marked by efforts to improve international relations. He believed in the importance of diplomacy and working with other countries. He worked to strengthen relationships with allies and to address global issues. One of the most significant achievements of Barack's presidency was the passing of the Affordable Care Act. This law aimed to make health care more affordable and accessible for all Americans. It was a major step forward in healthcare reform. Barack's presidency was not without challenges. He faced opposition from some members of Congress. They disagreed with his policies and made it difficult to pass new laws. But Barack remained focused on his goals and continued to work for change. Throughout his presidency, Barack was supported by his family. Michelle was a strong and active First Lady. She worked on initiatives to support military families, promote healthy living, and improve education. Malia and Sasha also adjusted to their new life in the White House. Barack's historic victory in 2008 was a turning point for the United States. It showed that the country was ready for change and progress. His election inspired many people, especially young people and minorities. They saw in him a leader who understood their struggles and hopes. Barack's promise to bring change and unity to the country was a guiding principle throughout his presidency. He worked hard to address the issues facing the country and to bring people together. His efforts made a significant impact on the lives of many Americans. Barack's journey from a young community organizer to the President of the United States was remarkable. His dedication to public service and his belief in the power of hope and change were evident in all that he did. His presidency was a time of progress and new beginnings for the country. Chapter 13. Early challenges. Barack Obama's first term as president began in January 2009. The country was facing significant challenges. The most serious problem was the global financial crisis. Many people were losing their jobs and homes. The economy was in trouble, and people were worried about the future. Barack knew that his first priority was to stabilize the economy. He worked with his team to develop a plan. They called it the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act. This plan aimed to create jobs and support businesses. It included funds for infrastructure projects, like building roads and schools. It also provided money for healthcare and education. Barack signed the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act into law in February 2009. This was one of his first major actions as president. The plan helped to create jobs and support families. It also aimed to rebuild the economy and restore confidence. Another big challenge was health care. Many Americans did not have health insurance. Barack believed that everyone should have access to quality health care. He wanted to pass a health care reform bill. This bill would help people get the care they needed. Barack worked hard to develop the health care reform bill. He talked to doctors, nurses, and patients. He listened to their concerns and ideas. He wanted to make sure the bill would address the problems in the healthcare system. His team worked day and night to create a plan that would help all Americans. The healthcare reform bill was called the Affordable Care Act. It was also known as Obamacare. The bill aimed to make healthcare more affordable and accessible. It included provisions to prevent insurance companies from denying coverage to people with pre-existing conditions. It also expanded Medicaid to help more low-income families. Passing the Affordable Care Act was not easy. There was a lot of opposition. Some people did not agree with the changes. They argued that the bill was too expensive. Others believed that the government should not be involved in healthcare. Despite these challenges, Barack remained focused. He believed that healthcare reform was necessary. In March 2010, the Affordable Care Act was passed by Congress. Barack signed it into law. This was a major achievement for his administration. The law helped millions of Americans get health insurance. It was a big step forward for healthcare in the United States. Creating jobs was another important goal for Barack. The financial crisis had caused many people to lose their jobs. Barack wanted to help them find new opportunities. He worked on programs to support small businesses. He also invested in green energy projects, like wind and solar power. These projects aim to create new jobs and protect the environment. Barack also focused on education. He believed that a good education was the key to a better future. He supported programs to improve schools and help students succeed. He wanted to make sure that every child had the opportunity to learn and grow. During his first term, Barack faced many challenges. He had to make tough decisions. He worked hard to address the problems facing the country. He believed in the power of hope and change. He wanted to create a better future for all Americans. Barack's leadership was tested during these difficult times. He had to navigate through a divided Congress. He had to find ways to bring people together. He worked to build relationships with members of both parties. He believed that working together was the best way to solve problems. One of the most difficult challenges was dealing with the global financial crisis. The crisis affected not only the United States, but also other countries. Barack worked with international leaders to address the problems. He participated in global meetings and discussions. He believed that cooperation was important for global recovery. Barack's efforts to stabilize the economy showed results. The economy began to recover. Jobs were created and businesses started to grow. The American Recovery and Reinvestment Act helped to rebuild infrastructure and support communities. People began to feel more confident about the future. The Affordable Care Act also made a positive impact. More people had access to health care. Families who struggled to pay for medical bills received help. The law provided peace of mind to many Americans. It ensured that they could get the care they needed without fear of financial ruin. Barack's focus on creating jobs and supporting education also showed progress. New industries and technologies provided opportunities for many people. Education programs helped students achieve their goals. These efforts laid the foundation for a stronger future. Despite the progress, there were still many challenges. The road to recovery was long and difficult. Barack knew that there was still a lot of work to be done. He remained committed to his vision of hope and change. He believed in the resilience and strength of the American people. Barack's first term was marked by significant challenges. The global financial crisis, healthcare reform, and job creation were major issues. He worked hard to address these problems. His efforts helped to stabilize the economy, improve healthcare, and create new opportunities. He faced opposition and tough decisions, but he remained focused on his goals. His leadership during these times showed his dedication to making a positive difference. Chapter 14. Foreign Policy. Barack Obama's foreign policy focused on improving international relations. He believed that diplomacy and cooperation were important for global peace and security. His goals included ending the Iraq War, targeting terrorist leaders, and promoting better relations with countries like Iran and Cuba. One of Barack's first actions as president was to address the situation in Iraq. The Iraq War had been going on for several years, and many people wanted it to end. Barack promised to bring American troops home and to help stabilize the country. He worked with military leaders to develop a plan for a responsible withdrawal. In 2011, Barack announced that the last American troops would leave Iraq by the end of the year. This was a significant moment. It marked the end of a long and difficult conflict. Barack believed that bringing the troops home was the right decision. He wanted to focus on rebuilding and supporting Iraq as it moved forward. Another important part of Barack's foreign policy was targeting terrorist leaders. The most well-known of these leaders was Osama bin Laden, the mastermind behind the September 11th attacks. Finding and capturing bin Laden was a top priority. In May 2011, Barack received important news. Intelligence had located Osama bin Laden in Pakistan. Barack made the difficult decision to authorize a special operation to capture him. The mission was risky, but the team was well prepared. On May 2, 2011, the operation took place. American Special Forces entered bin Laden's compound in Pakistan. After a brief firefight, they confirmed that bin Laden was dead. This was a major victory in the fight against terrorism. Barack announced the news to the American people. Many felt a sense of justice and relief. Barack's foreign policy also included efforts to improve relations with other countries. He believed that diplomacy was the best way to solve conflicts and build partnerships. Two of the countries he focused on were Iran and Cuba. Relations between the United States and Iran had been tense for many years. The main issue was Iran's nuclear program. Barack wanted to find a peaceful solution. He worked with other world leaders to create a plan. In 2015, the United States and other countries reached an agreement with Iran. This agreement known as the Iran nuclear deal, aimed to prevent Iran from developing nuclear weapons. In exchange, some economic sanctions on Iran were lifted. Barack believed that this deal was an important step towards peace and stability. Cuba was another country where Barack aimed to improve relations. The United States had not had diplomatic relations with Cuba for over 50 years. Barack wanted to change this. He believed that engaging with Cuba would benefit both countries. In 2014, Barack announced a new policy towards Cuba. He worked to restore diplomatic relations. The United States reopened its embassy in Havana, and Cuba reopened its embassy in Washington, D.C. This was a historic moment. It marked the beginning of a new chapter in U.S.-Cuba relations. Barack also visited Cuba in 2016. He was the first sitting U.S. president to visit Cuba in nearly 90 years. During his visit, he met with Cuban leaders and talked about ways to improve cooperation. He also spoke directly to the Cuban people about the benefits of a closer relationship with the United States. Barack's foreign policy included other important efforts as well. He worked to strengthen alliances with countries in Europe and Asia. He believed that strong partnerships were important for global security. He also focused on issues like climate change and global health. One of Barack's key achievements was the Paris Agreement on climate change. This agreement brought together countries from around the world to address climate change. Barack played a crucial role in bringing countries to the table. The agreement aimed to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and to limit global warming. Barack also worked on global health issues. He supported efforts to combat diseases like Ebola and HIV/AIDS. He believed that addressing health crises was important for global stability. His administration provided aid and support to countries in need. Throughout his presidency, Barack faced many challenges in foreign policy. He had to navigate complex international issues and make difficult decisions. But he remained focused on his goals. He believed in the power of diplomacy and cooperation. Barack's efforts to end the Iraq War, target terrorist leaders, and improve relations with countries like Iran and Cuba were significant achievements. His foreign policy aimed to create a more peaceful and stable world. He believed that working together with other countries was the best way to achieve this. Chapter 15. Re-election and second term. In 2012, Barack Obama ran for re-election as President of the United States. The election was very important for him. He wanted to continue his work and address more issues facing the country. His opponent was Mitt Romney, a former governor of Massachusetts. The campaign was intense. Barack traveled across the country, talking to people and sharing his plans. He focused on his achievements from his first term and his vision for the future. Many people supported him, believing in his message of hope and change. On November 6, 2012, Americans went to vote. The results came in, and Barack won re-election. He was very happy and grateful for the trust that the people had placed in him. He thanked his supporters and promised to work hard for all Americans. Barack's second term began in January 2013. He faced many important issues. One of the most pressing was climate change. Barack believed that climate change was a serious threat to the planet. He wanted to take action to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and protect the environment. In 2015, Barack helped to create the Paris Agreement. This agreement brought together countries from around the world to address climate change. The goal was to limit global warming and reduce emissions. Barack worked hard to get many countries to join the agreement. He believed that global cooperation was essential to solving this problem. Another important issue was immigration reform. Many people in the United States were living without legal status. Barack wanted to create a fair and just immigration system. He worked on plans to help immigrants become legal residents and to secure the borders. In 2014, Barack took executive action to protect millions of undocumented immigrants from deportation. This action allowed them to stay in the country and work legally. It was a temporary solution, but Barack hoped that Congress would pass a more permanent reform. Gun control was another major focus of Barack's second term. There were many tragic shootings in the country, and he wanted to make communities safer. He proposed new laws to require background checks for all gun buyers. He also wanted to ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. Barack faced a lot of opposition to his gun control measures. Many people disagreed with his proposals. They believed that the laws would infringe on their rights. Despite the challenges, Barack continued to push for change. He believed that taking action on gun control was necessary to protect lives. Throughout his second term, Barack continued to advocate for equality and justice. He supported the rights of all Americans, regardless of race, gender, or sexual orientation. He believed that everyone deserved to be treated with respect and dignity. In 2015, the Supreme Court made a historic decision. It ruled that same-sex marriage was legal in all 50 states. Barack celebrated this decision. He believed that love and equality should be recognized and respected. The ruling was a major step forward for LGBTQ+ rights. Barack also focused on criminal justice reform. He believed that the justice system needed to be fairer. He worked on policies to reduce sentences for non-violent offenders. He also supported programs to help people who were released from prison to reintegrate into society. Education was another important area for Barack. He wanted to make sure that every child had access to a good education. He supported programs to improve schools and help students succeed. He also promoted college affordability, believing that higher education should be accessible to all. During his second term, Barack faced many challenges. He had to deal with a divided Congress. Many lawmakers opposed his policies. This made it difficult to pass new laws. Despite these obstacles, Barack remained committed to his goals. He worked hard to find solutions and make progress. Barack's leadership was tested during difficult times. In 2013, a government shutdown occurred. This happened because Congress could not agree on a budget. The shutdown lasted for 16 days and affected many government services. Barack worked to resolve the crisis and get the government running again. Another challenge was the rise of the terrorist group ISIS. The group caused violence and instability in the Middle East. Barack worked with international partners to combat ISIS. He believed that a global effort was necessary to defeat terrorism and promote peace. Barack also faced criticism and opposition. Some people did not agree with his policies and decisions. They expressed their views through protests and political action. Barack listened to their concerns and tried to address them. He believed that open dialogue was important for democracy. Throughout his second term, Barack remained focused on his vision. He wanted to create a better future for all Americans. He worked to protect the environment, reform the immigration system, promote gun safety, and advocate for equality and justice. His dedication to these issues showed his commitment to making a positive impact. In January 2017, Barack's second term came to an end. He reflected on his time as president and the progress that had been made. He felt proud of his achievements and the work that had been done. He thanked the American people for their support and trust. Barack's second term was marked by significant challenges and achievements. He faced many issues, including climate change, immigration reform, gun control, and equality. He worked hard to address these problems and to make a difference. His efforts showed his dedication to serving the American people and improving the country. Chapter 16. Post-Presidency. After leaving office in January 2017, Barack and Michelle Obama began a new chapter in their lives. They continued their public service through the Obama Foundation. This foundation aimed to empower young leaders, promote civic engagement, and address global challenges. The Obama Foundation was established in 2014, but its work expanded after Barack's presidency. The foundation focused on helping young people become leaders in their communities. It also aimed to encourage people to participate in civic activities like voting and volunteering. Barack and Michelle were both very involved in the foundation's work. They traveled to different countries to meet young leaders and listen to their stories. They believed that these young people could make a big difference in the world. One of the foundation's main projects was the Obama Presidential Center in Chicago. This center was planned as a place for people to learn, gather, and be inspired. It included a library, a museum, and spaces for community events. Barack and Michelle wanted the center to be a place where people could come together and work on solutions to important issues. Barack and Michelle also focused on education. They started the Girls' Opportunity Alliance, which aimed to help girls around the world get an education. They believed that educated girls could change their communities and their countries. The Alliance supported programs that provided scholarships, built schools, and trained teachers. Another important initiative was My Brother's Keeper, which Barack launched during his presidency. This program aimed to support young men of color by providing mentorship and opportunities. After leaving office, Barack continued to work on this initiative through the foundation. He wanted to ensure that all young people had the chance to succeed. Barack and Michelle also promoted civic engagement. They encouraged people to get involved in their communities and to participate in the democratic process. They believed that every person could make a difference by voting, volunteering, and speaking out on important issues. In addition to their work with the foundation, Barack and Michelle wrote books. Barack's memoir, A Promised Land, was published in 2020. In the book, he reflected on his life, his presidency, and the challenges he faced. The book was very popular and received positive reviews. Michelle's memoir, Becoming, was published in 2018. In her book, she shared her story from her childhood in Chicago to her time as First Lady. The book inspired many people and became a bestseller. Michelle also went on a book tour where she spoke to large audiences about her experiences. Barack and Michelle continued to be active in public life. They gave speeches, participated in interviews, and attended events. They used their platform to speak about important issues, such as climate change, social justice, and health care. They wanted to continue to inspire and motivate people to work for positive change. In their post-presidency, Barack and Michelle also spent time with their family. They enjoyed being with their daughters, Malia and Sasha, who were growing up and starting their own careers. The Obamas valued their family time and made sure to balance their work with their personal lives. Barack and Michelle also focused on their own health and well-being. They stayed active by exercising regularly and eating healthy. They believed that taking care of themselves was important so they could continue their work and enjoy their lives. The Obama Foundation hosted an annual summit where young leaders from around the world gathered to share ideas and learn from each other. These summits were inspiring and energizing for Barack and Michelle. They enjoyed meeting young people who were passionate about making a difference. One of the foundation's key values was inclusivity. Barack and Michelle wanted to make sure that everyone felt welcome and valued. They believed that diverse voices and perspectives were essential for solving global challenges. Barack and Michelle's post-presidency work was not without challenges. They faced criticism and opposition, but they remained focused on their goals. They believed in their mission and worked hard to make a positive impact. Through their foundation, Barack and Michelle aimed to leave a lasting legacy. They wanted to create a world where every person had the opportunity to succeed. They believed that by empowering young leaders and promoting civic engagement, they could help build a better future for all. Chapter 17. Legacy of Hope. Barack Obama's journey from a multicultural childhood to becoming the President of the United States shows the power of hope and perseverance. His life story continues to inspire people around the world. Barack was born on August 4, 1961, in Honolulu, Hawaii. His father, Barack Obama Sr., was from Kenya, and his mother, Ann Dunham, was from Kansas, USA. Barack grew up in a multicultural environment, learning about different cultures and values. His early years were full of changes and challenges. When Barack was 2 years old, his parents separated. His mother later married an Indonesian man, and the family moved to Jakarta. Living in Indonesia, Barack experienced a new culture and learned a new language. This time in his life taught him to adapt and be open-minded. At the age of 10, Barack returned to Hawaii to live with his grandparents. He attended the prestigious Punahou School, where he excelled in his studies and developed his leadership skills. Barack's curiosity and love for learning helped him succeed in school. After high school, Barack moved to Los Angeles to attend Occidental College. Later, he transferred to Columbia University in New York City, where he majored in political science. During his college years, Barack became interested in social justice and community issues. These experiences shaped his future goals. After graduating from Columbia, Barack moved to Chicago to work as a community organizer. He helped low-income families improve their living conditions and fought for better job opportunities. This work inspired his passion for public service and motivated him to continue his education. Barack attended Harvard Law School, where he became the first African-American president of the Harvard Law Review. His leadership and academic success gained national attention. After graduating, he returned to Chicago, where he worked as a lawyer and taught constitutional law at the University of Chicago. In 1996, Barack entered politics by running for the Illinois State Senate. His dedication to improving health care, education, and criminal justice reform made him a popular figure in Illinois politics. In 2004, he ran for the U.S. Senate and won, becoming a rising star in American politics. Barack announced his candidacy for President of the United States in 2007. His message of hope and change resonated with millions of Americans. Despite facing strong opponents, Barack's campaign gained momentum. On November 4, 2008, he was elected the 44th President of the United States, making history as the first African-American president. During his first term, Barack faced significant challenges, including the global financial crisis. He worked to stabilize the economy, passed healthcare reform known as the Affordable Care Act, and focused on creating jobs. His leadership during these difficult times showed his commitment to improving the lives of Americans. Barack's foreign policy aimed to improve international relations. He worked on ending the Iraq War, targeted terrorist leaders like Osama bin Laden, and promoted diplomacy with countries like Iran and Cuba. His efforts to build global partnerships were important for peace and security. In 2012, Barack won re-election. His second term focused on issues like climate change, immigration reform, and gun control. He continued to advocate for equality and justice for all Americans. Despite facing many challenges, he remained dedicated to his goals. After leaving office in 2017, Barack and Michelle continued their public service through the Obama Foundation. They focused on empowering young leaders, promoting civic engagement, and addressing global challenges. Their work aimed to inspire and motivate people to make a positive difference in their communities and the world. Barack's legacy is one of hope and perseverance. His journey from a multicultural childhood to becoming president shows that anything is possible with hard work and determination. His story continues to inspire people to strive for justice, equality, and positive change. Chapter 17. Legacy of Hope. Barack Obama's journey from a multicultural childhood to becoming the President of the United States shows the power of hope and perseverance. His story inspires people around the world to work for justice, equality, and positive change. Barack was born on August 4, 1961, in Honolulu, Hawaii. His father, Barack Obama Sr., was from Kenya, and his mother, Ann Dunham, was from Kansas, USA. Barack grew up learning about different cultures and values. His early life was full of changes and challenges. When Barack was 2 years old, his parents separated. His mother later married an Indonesian man named Lolo Sotoro. The family moved to Jakarta, Indonesia, when Barack was 6 years old. Living in Indonesia, Barack saw a new culture and learned a new language. This experience taught him to adapt and be open-minded. At the age of 10, Barack returned to Hawaii to live with his grandparents, Stanley and Madeline Dunham. He attended the prestigious Punahou School. He did well in his studies and developed his leadership skills. Barack's curiosity and love for learning helped him succeed in school. After high school, Barack moved to Los Angeles to attend Occidental College. Later, he transferred to Columbia University in New York City, where he studied political science. During his college years, Barack became interested in social justice and community issues. These experiences shaped his future goals. After graduating from Columbia, Barack moved to Chicago to work as a community organizer. He helped low-income families improve their living conditions and find better job opportunities. This work inspired his passion for public service and motivated him to continue his education. Barack attended Harvard Law School. There, he became the first African-American president of the Harvard Law Review. His leadership and academic success gained national attention. After graduating, he returned to Chicago to work as a lawyer and teach constitutional law at the University of Chicago. In 1996, Barack entered politics by running for the Illinois State Senate. He focused on improving healthcare, education, and criminal justice reform. His dedication made him a popular figure in Illinois politics. In 2004, he ran for the U.S. Senate and won, becoming a rising star in American politics. Barack announced his candidacy for President of the United States in 2007. His message of hope and change resonated with many Americans. Despite facing strong opponents, his campaign gained momentum. On November 4, 2008, he was elected the 44th President of the United States. making history as the first African-American president. During his first term, Barack faced significant challenges, including the global financial crisis. He worked to stabilize the economy and passed healthcare reform known as the Affordable Care Act. He also focused on